These are complex numbers. The i's can go with the i's, and the numbers can go with the numbers. So who can get put together?
The I and the I.
Yeah, so -4 plus 3 minus 6. You just type that on the calculator all at once. -4 plus 3 minus 6.
-7.
-7. So we're going to get 2 minus 7i. Okay, number 3 says -5i squared. What does squared mean? It means times it by itself. So it really is going to look like this. -5i times -5i. Okay, if it had to the third, then we would add a third one. If it had to the fourth, we would do it 4 times. Okay, so what is -5 times -5? Use your calculator.
It's 25.
It's 25. How many i's are there total?
2.
2, so it's going to be I squared. Okay, if you recall, what does I squared mean? I squared really means -1. So that would probably be somewhere on your notes. I squared equals -1. Okay, I squared equals -1. So we do have an I squared there. So this is going to get changed to a -1. So it's going to look like 25 parentheses -1. Okay, well, what do you think you do with those two things? Okay, what do we think we do with those? We can put it in the calculator. Okay, it really means just times. 25 times -1. -25. Okay, so that's my answer, -25. Okay, number 5. Number 5. So you do have to do these in an order. So I would draw yourself some notes or something, but these two are going to go first. Then these two go second. Then these two go third. And then these two have to go fourth. Okay, that is the order that those have to go in. Okay. Okay, and it's 12th boiling. We do the first, the outer, the inner, the last. Okay, and that's for all distributing. If you see any things that have like 2 on in one parenthesis and 2 on the other, that's going to be the steps. Okay, we do the first, the outer, the inner, the last. Okay, so the first two, we've got -7 times -4. -7 times -4. Positive 28. How many i's are there total?
2. 1. None.
No, you've said every option.
0.
Okay, there are none. Okay, the 7, he doesn't have any. The 4, he doesn't have any, right? There are none. Okay, now we do the 2 part. So -7 times -6. -7 times -6. 42. How many i's are there total? Okay, how many's he got? 1. How many's he? Or he's got none. How many's he got? 1. Okay. Okay, and then we do the third part. -7 times -4. Positive 28. How many i's does he got? 1. How many i's does he got? None. So it's going to be 1 i. Okay, and then lastly, -7 times -6. 42. How many i's does he have? 1. Him. 1. So it's going to be I2. Okay, well now if you're looking at this, who can get combined?
42 and 28.
42 and 28. And if you did it right, it should be the middle two. Okay, if you did it correctly, it should be the middle two. Okay, so we're going to get 28. What is 42 plus 28?
73.
73i? No, there's no way. Use your calculator.
No.
It should be 70.
Use your calculator. You guys are going to mess up today. Use your calculators.
It's 70.
Oh,
70? 70i plus 42i squared. Okay, what is I squared though, remember?
-1.
I squared is -1. So right here, this really gets crossed out and we say -1. Okay, and what do we do with that?
Multiply.
We multiply it. So 42 times -1 is -42. And remember, this one I'm doing a really long way because you can use this on your test. So we got, so we're going to get a minus 42. Okay, and then what can get done?
42 and 28.
The 42 and 28. So what is 28 minus 42? 28 minus 42.
Negative 14.
Huh?
Negative
Do you
14.
use your calculator?
Yeah.
Negative 14 plus 70i. Okay, now, I am a realist, so what I can tell you, some problems you're going to be like, oh, yep, got it. Hey, other problems, I'm not saying if you had to take a 0, but if you had to take a 0 on one, okay, do it on a problem you don't know what you're doing, okay? So really focus on the ones you do. That's a really longer problem, so if you're like crunched on time, that'd be one that I would cut out, okay? Okay, number 7, it says factor each completely, okay? We're going to draw 2 parentheses. What goes in the first one? What goes in each one?
And 2.
We're going to say n and n, and we make a list of what number? Make a list of what number?
What was it on?
What number do we make a list of? Anybody remember?
5.
2, 3.
Uh-uh.
Is
Okay.
there 7 in it?
No. Okay, so we make a list of 10. So 1 and 10 is going to be the first one. Does 2 go in?
Oh,
Yeah.
nothing.
2 goes in. 2 and what? 2, 5. Does 3 go in?
Nope.
No. 4. And 5's already up there. Okay, so those are only options. We need something of these 2 groups, so you can either choose this group or this group, to give me an 11.
1 and 10.
110, okay? So 2, 5 would not work, okay? So 110. Where should you normally pick from, the top or the bottom of the list?
Bottom.
The bottom, okay? Now, is that always true?
No.
No, but more times than not, you should be picking from the bottom. Okay, so, and then I need a positive 11. How can I make that happen? Plus, okay? And here's where I would maybe, if you need it, write the little notes chart on your paper, but you can have a plus plus, a plus minus, a minus plus, or a minus minus. Okay, those are the 4 types of signs that you can have. Okay, now, I'm not going to force you, right? So if you need the notes, write them. If you don't need them, don't write them. Okay, what are you allowed to use in your test?
This paper.
This paper, that's it, okay? So, don't waste your time writing stuff if you're like, oh, I've got it. Okay, but if you didn't remember it initially, then you probably are going to need it, okay? Okay, what is different from number 9 to this one?
There's an equals.
Okay, there's an equals, okay? Okay, so we've got, we're going to draw our 2 parentheses, and we're going to say A and A. We're going to make a list of what number?
No, 32.
32. What's the first one always? 1 and 32. Does 2 go in?
2 and no.
Yes, it does.
Oh, it does.
So you'd say 32 on your calculator, 32 divided by 2.
60.
Nora, put your phone up. 16?
Yeah.
Does 3 go in?
No.
3 goes in?
Pretty sure it does. Yeah.
How can we do it? 32 divided by 3. No? Okay, 4.
Yeah.
4 and what?
8.
4 and 8. 5.
No.
If I see one more phone, I'm going to start taking them. Put them up. Okay, 5.
No.
6.
No.
7 and 8's on the list. Okay? So of these, I need something to add or subtract to give me what?
12.
12. Okay, what could give me a 12?
4 and 8.
4 and 8. Where should you be checking from?
The bottom.
The bottom. Okay? So we got 4 and 8.
Plus.
I need a positive 12. This is going to be plus plus. Okay, so far all of that is the same as what we just did. Okay? This one is different because it says equals 0. Okay, now I'm going to do this the slow way. However, there is a shortcut if you can recall it. But so it's going to look like A plus 4 equals 0 and A plus 8 equals 0. Okay, we set both of the inside pieces equal to 0.
Is that it?
It is not. So we're going to solve for this very first one. How would I solve for that? Minus 4 on both sides. Okay, so minus 4 and minus 4. So we get A equals 0 minus 4 is negative 4. Okay, how do I solve for the second one?
Minus 8.
Minus 8, minus 8. So we get A equals negative 8. What happened from the parenthesis part to my answer part?
You're just putting it into like what's called, A equals the opposite of the number.
Yes, okay, so whatever's on the inside of the parentheses, if it says equals 0, whatever number's on the inside of the parentheses, if it's a negative, you're gonna turn it to a positive. If it's positive, you're gonna turn it to a negative. Okay? So that's the only difference is you're gonna have an A equals rather than, okay? So it's a matter of like stop or keep going, because these are our two answers, okay? The 4 and the 8. Negative 4 and negative 8. Okay, number 11 and 12, you will need that formula. I wrote on some of the numbers, so sorry about that. But okay, find somewhere, write it on your paper. Okay, you will need that one for the formula. Okay, and if you're looking at number 3, number 11, what is my A value? 3. What's my B? Negative 11, okay, the negative's gonna go with it. And then C, negative 130. Okay, so it always goes AX squared plus BX plus C, okay? So, it's gonna look like negative, my B is negative 11, plus or minus negative 11 squared minus 4 times my A, which is 3, times my C, which is negative 130, all over 2 times my A, which is 3.
Which is A, B, and C.
So it always goes in like the order that it goes by, so A, B, C.
Oh.
So notice, but sometimes there's one missing, so the A always has like the X squared, or the P squared, or the B squared. The B part always just has a single X, okay? And then the C is the one that just has a number by itself, okay? So I do these in steps, and today, because where you guys can use this, I'm gonna go slow, but, hey, what is negative 11?
Positive 11.
Positive 11. Plus or minus. What about on the bottom? What are you gonna get? 2 parentheses 3. 6. Okay? So this is really going down here, and this part is going here. Okay? And then you're gonna type in all this on the calculator, okay? So type this part on the calculator with no house. Okay, type it with no house. So you're gonna start off by putting the parentheses, negative 11, close parentheses squared. Okay, you gotta use parentheses. Okay, you cannot type in the whole thing. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it will not. Okay, so you have to do it in pieces because depending on whether it's rational or an irrational number or a complex number, meaning that it's gonna have an I. The calculator does not know the difference. Okay. So what do you get for the underneath part?
168.
168?
1681.
1681, somebody agree? Okay, and so now then you would say the house button, 1681. Okay, so house, 1681.
41.
41?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got 11 plus or minus 41 over 6. Okay, and so now we do it twice. Remember, we do it twice. So we've got 11 plus 41 over 6, 11 minus 41 over 6. Okay, what do we get for the plus part?
26 over 3.
26 over 3?
Yep.
Okay, what about for the minus part?
Negative 5.
Negative 5?
Yep.
Somebody agree with these numbers?
Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I genuinely don't know what they are, okay? So you guys got this right. Okay, normally they wouldn't take that long. Normally I wouldn't even write down this step, okay, or possibly even that one, okay, but that way when you're looking back at it, you can kind of follow my steps, okay? So that's the whole purpose of that, okay? So today and tomorrow are just gonna be long, but after that they go boom, 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 okay? Look at 13. It says perform each indicated operation, okay? So, what is the indicated operation for 13? What's the indicated operation?
H plus G.
Yeah, it's a plus, okay? So it's gonna look like H plus G, okay? What is my H function?
Negative 2 squared minus 2n.
Yeah, negative n squared minus 2n. Okay, that's my H. Plus my G. Okay, my G is n minus 1. You're almost gonna lose that iPad and not be able to have them up because I can't see what you're doing behind it and I don't like it. Okay, so if we're looking at this, who can get combined?
Negative 2n
The negative 2n and the n. So what is negative 2 plus 1? Negative 1. Okay, so this part is going to be negative n squared minus 1n minus 1. Alright, so this one is solved. Okay, all we did was take the h and then say plus and then with the g. Okay. Okay, 15. What is the indicated operation? It is subtraction. Okay, the indicated operation is subtraction. Okay, which one is it getting subtracted? What does it say? What minus what?
G.
G minus H. Okay, so the H comes on the second part, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so that means that you change the signs on the second one. Okay, you change the signs on the second one. So, and that happens to be the H. So the H is gonna, instead of 2T3, it's gonna be a minus 2T3. And then this one is gonna get changed to a plus T2. Okay, you change all the signs on the second one. Okay, and so if you need to write yourself a note, that's totally up to you, okay? And then it's gonna end up just being an addition problem. So it's gonna look like 3T minus 4 plus negative 2T3 plus 2T2. Okay, all we did was change the signs on the second one. That's it, that's all we did. And now it looks just like the last problem that we did, okay? Who can get combined?
3, 2, no, just.
None of them, why not?
Because they're different exponents.
Yeah, so there's like a T, right? A number, a T3, and a T2. So none of them can get combined. So this is our answer. Okay, and so if you need to write yourself a note, you need to say change all the signs on the second one. Okay?
That's only for when you subtract.
Only when we're doing the subtraction one, and then you do it just like the addition one. Okay, for 17, what is the indicated operation? Yeah, it's gonna be times, okay? So it says F dot G, so it's gonna look like F comes first, so N3 minus 5N, and then we got 2N minus 2. Okay, first of all, where can I put a 1? Where can I put a 1?
In the front.
In the front of this N3, Okay, I'm gonna put some space here. Okay, I can put a 1 here. Okay, now if you recall, you do these ones first, second, third, and fourth. Remember, we just did this earlier. Okay, and write smaller than what I did, but. Okay, so for the first one, I got 1 times 2. It's gonna be 2. How many n's total? Look at your first guy, look at your second guy.
2.
There are 4 n's total. Okay, 1 times negative 2. It's negative 2. How many n's total? 3. Okay, then I do the third guy. Negative 5 times 2. I mean negative 10. How many n's total? 2. And then I do the last 2 guys. So negative 5 times negative 2. Positive 10. How many n's total? 1. Okay, and then we combine. Who can get combined? None of them. Okay, they don't have the same last name. However, that's when you would combine, okay? So, but in this case, we don't have to combine, but sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. Okay, 19, what is the indicated operation? Division, right? So we did 1 addition, 1 subtraction, 1 multiplication, 1 division. The division one is probably the easiest one. It says put f on top. What's my f? 2x. And put g on the bottom. What's my g? Yeah. Okay, that's the division one. Yep. Okay, 21 is the composition. Okay, is the composition. Okay, what number did they give you to start? What's our initial investment? Negative 10. What is the closest letter to the negative 10? G. All right, so we're going to write down our G function. What is my G function?
X squared plus 2x.
X squared plus 2x. Everywhere there's an x, we're going to put what?
Negative 2.
Negative 10, because that's our initial investment. Okay, you're going to type that in your calculator and see what you get. What do you get?
80.
80. Okay, and then we use what comes after the G? What letter? The F. Okay, and what is my F function?
X minus 2.
X minus 2. And so we use this 80 that we have now, and that's going to get plugged in there. So it's going to be 80 minus 2, which is going to be 78. Okay, and so we say F of G of negative 10 equals 78. Was that a good investment?
Yeah.
Yeah, they started negative 10. What did they end up with? 78, right? So essentially somebody's like, hey, let me borrow $10, and they turn that $10 into $78 and pay their $10 back, all right? We got a couple more. Let me see what we got going on. We'll probably do 6 more. The bottom 4 go pretty quick. Can I scroll?
Yeah.
Okay, 23. What are our magic numbers? Some of you guys started remembering these earlier.
No, it's 3, 7,
What are they?
3, 5, 2, 3, 5.
2, 3, 5, 7. Okay, 2, 3, 5, 7. If there's no number on the outside of the house, what number is it?
2.
There's a 2. Okay, so if there's no number on the outside of the house, there's a 2. Okay, we talked about going to Kroger or going to Walmart, right? You go in groups of 2. So you're gonna say 392 divided by 2 on your calculator. What is that?
Wait, what did I
196.
Okay, and then you're gonna say 196 divided by 2. 98. 98 divided by 2.
49.
49. 49 divided by 2.
49/2.
It doesn't work. So then you're going to say 49 divided by 3 because that's our next magic number.
Doesn't work.
It does not work. 49 divided by 5 because that's our next number.
That would work.
It does not work. So then you check 7.
7.
7 does work, right? 7 and 7. Okay, so of these people, who is allowed to go?
One group of 2.
One group of 2s and one group of 7s. Who cannot go?
2.
That 2. Okay, so the 2 goes back in the house. Okay, what do we do with that 2, 7?
Multiply.
You gotta multiply it. So 2 times 7
14.
is 14 square root 2. Okay, I know that you can do these on the calculator, okay, which is great. You can check them on the calculator. You still need to show your work. Does everyone understand?
Yeah.
Okay, because there's quite a few problems like that with the adding and subtracting things. You have to show some work. Okay, yes, all of you. Okay, 25, we're going to say 98. Okay, it's going to be 2, 49, and 7 and 7. Okay, who can go? One group of 7s. Who cannot go? The 2. Okay, how many A's do I have? How many A's do we have?
1.
There's 1 A. How many of those guys can go? Does he have a partner?
Yeah. Oh, no.
He does not, so he's got to go back in the house. Okay, there are 3 B's. How many of those guys can go?
2.
2 and or 1 group. Okay, and then 1's got to go back in the house. Okay. Uh, 27 is going to look like, so these go from radical form to exponential form. Hold on, because I gotta make sure that's right though. Yeah, that is right. Okay, so, that's going from radical form to exponential form. Okay, so it gave us the radical, we're going to exponential form, so I need to convert it like this. Okay, so my big number is 4. What's going on top? What's going on the top? 2 over 3. Okay, and it should look like a power. Okay, 29 is going to be 4m. Okay, remember, if there's more than one piece on the inside, you got to use parentheses. Okay, what's going on top? 1 and a 3. Okay, remember, if there's no number on the inside, it's a 1. If there's no number on the outside, what number is it? A 2. Okay. And then these ones, we're doing the exact opposite. So they gave us a number. We're going to turn it into the radical form. Okay, so it's going to look like radical with a 7. What number is going on the inside? 5. Outside? 2, but do we write a 2 on the outside?
No.
No, so nothing. No, you cannot. Okay, and then lastly, 33, we're going to say 2x. What number is going on the inside?
2. 2. Oh,
1.
A 1, but are we allowed to put a 1 on the inside?
No.
No, and then a 4 goes on the outside. Okay, we're going to stop here for today.